and welcome to another episode of the Easy Cage Show. Guys, I am Darth Easy.
And I'm Rainy Cage that had to break records for longest.
That's a callback to the old podcast where I would, go like minutes, like 30 seconds at a time and do the thing. So, guys, this is episode 160 of the ECK show. Guys, we're here to talk about the canceled too soon show, Cowboy Bebop. We're going to talk, we already had, if we know Cowboy Bebop got canceled, we may not be doing this episode, but we had already committed. I already committed it hours of my day, out of my life, into watching the show. So guess what? We're talking about it. I don't care what you done to think, because we are watching Cowboy Bebop season 1 review. We were supposed to have a special guest host, but we don't know he watched it, and I don't really want him on the show if he did not do his homework. Because for once, Randy Cage finished way before any of us did. So I actually finished the show, I think, last Sunday or one of those days. I can't remember when I actually finished it, or not last Sunday, the Sunday before that, because this episode's late. Last week, the horrible tornado destroyed parts of community that surrounds us. So prayers and thoughts and goodwills of the ECK show go out to them. But we didn't have internet last week, so that's the reason why this episode is a week late. So, but we're talking about Cowboy Bebop now, and so let's get ready to talk about it. But before we talk about it, we gotta watch that trailer. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So what brings you back from the dead?
A week ago, I did a job. A bounty. I had a partner, believe it or not.
He know what you used to be? Will I ever see you again?
They tried to kill me, Anna. If you need to find me, I go by Spike Spiegel these days. In this solar system, the cops and the bounty hunters don't get you, the syndicate will. There's no happy ending here.
Spoken like a man who's never been in love.
I was.
What happened?
I was dreaming.
What do you say, fellas? You want to team up? I was thinking a 6-40 split. Going my way, of course.
Do not shoot her.
Please?
No.
What the actual fuck?
We're a team. The 3 of us. Go grab some bounties.
Please, I just want to kill her a little bit.
God damn it, Spike.
It's Jam.
You good guys. Or bad guys.
Depends on who you ask.
Woo!
Too soon.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, let's get right into talk about it. So, Cowboy Bebop, remake of the anime series of which it was the anime that really kickstarted my big interest into anime. I went from into that to watching some other good anime shows. I mean, it's not my favorite foreign medium, but Cowboy Bebop is, I consider, the godfather of anime series. I love the show. The movie's really good too, and I didn't know what to expect out of this show, and I have to say, I really enjoyed most of the show. I mean, there's was it a little wonky at times? Was it a little cartoony at times? Absolutely. But you know what? I thought that kind of hit into its with the whole point of the show was at times. And I'm sad it got canceled, but I get it why it got canceled at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place on the show. I did watch the anime, but it's been so long. I didn't, it wasn't fresh in my mind, and I didn't go
Mhm.
back and watch it to get ready for this because I know some people complained because it was too much like the anime. Um, but I like it. It's not my favorite, the original anime, but I thought the trailer looked really cool, so I went in pretty excited. And at first I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this because the acting was a little wooden kind of, and it was kind of cheesy. I don't know. It felt like the the actors weren't in it, but it grew on me as I watched each episode. I started to really like the cast. I liked their chemistry. Um, I really liked pretty much everybody except for Vicious, and I liked all the little stories, and I was having flashbacks to the anime when we were watching them, and I don't know. I started to really like it too, like you. I was enjoying it. I wanted to see what happened, and I wanted it to keep going until the very last episode. Then
Okay,
it,
so let's talk about positives first, and then we can get to negatives, and then we can go through our overall thoughts of the show. So first off, my positive to the show was the characters. I thought the main characters of Spike, played by John Cho, and the guy that played Jet Black and Faye Valentine were great interpretations of what we saw from the anime. Like Jet Black was it's like the guy that voiced him walked right off the set of Boyce and Jet and went right into making the show. And I thought like his episode, the noir episode, which this will go into some of my negatives as well, but I'll talk about some of the positives. One of my favorite episodes of the anime was the episode with Jet when he's going back whenever he was a cop about with his wife and everything. And I love that episode just because I love crime noir so much, and that's one thing I really liked about the episode. Also, I really liked the Spike. I really liked Spike. I thought John Cho really captured him, his demeanor from the anime. You know, like the moment it really hit me was whenever Spike gets kicked off the roof and Jet's holding him by the leg, and Spike just hangs out there, pulls out a cigarette, just starts smoking like the easy natured, and I'm like, he got it. He gets the character. Like that's such a Spike Spiegel move. And also the one character I was really surprised, which was she was very little different from what we saw her in the anime, was Faye Valentine. And I like the differences they make. I like that she's not covered up in debt like she is in the anime version of the character. And I like these subtle changes, like the adopted mother story. I thought that
I
and
like that one.
that was a like a brand new storyline, and it was actually one of the stronger episodes. And that's always been my argument when we do these remakes of movies or video games or TV shows. Is I want to see the characters. It's like seeing your friends. Like I want to hang out with my buddies Spike, Jet, Ed, and Faye, and I just want to see him go on a new adventure. I don't need to see a carbon copy remake of everything. Everything I know, it's a movie you're not looking forward to seeing next year. Uncharted. I don't need to see a remake of the video games. I just want to see the characters and them go on an adventure. That's what I want to see on something like this, because I don't need to see the same stories I've already seen. I want to see something new. So that episode probably impressed me the most of the show.
I liked Faye. I liked pretty much everything about Faye, but I liked her chemistry with Spike. It was really good, and yeah, I like that episode too. I like a mix of both. You know, I always point to Aladdin, the live action Aladdin. You know, they changed a little bit, but for the most part, it's the same. It's the same movie, and that's the same thing here. Like I said, I hadn't watched the anime in a long time, so some stuff I don't, even I didn't even realize that they had changed. But I like when it's the same with some small differences. Um, so I don't know. I that part didn't bother me at all. I thought it was really good. And every episode I kept going, "Oh, this is my favorite episode." And the next one would be, like, "Oh, this is my favorite episode." There wasn't really any episode where I was like, this is stupid." Even the episode before the final episode, where we got a bunch of backstory on.
Yeah, I was getting ready to talk about that. The
Yeah,
episode where
that's a great
we had,
episode.
which was cool because in the original anime, and I really wish Jordan was on this show because I know he's read the manga and everything, so we'd be able to do a little more of a deeper dive into it. But I really liked that episode because in the anime we only saw flashes of when Spike was in the syndicate. This episode, the name was stupid. It's like I am ruthless, and like I watched Chris Stutman's review. It's like whenever syndicate members just come in, he's just like you are terror, you are death. We're like what the hell is this? What the hell? Why did it come up? How did it come up with these names? But even that was probably the episode that I liked Vicious the most in. And it was before, and
Me
really,
too.
the way him and the thing about it is I'm comparing Vicious a lot to one of my favorite movie characters of all time, Darth Vader. Once we get to the backstory and seeing him a lot in the prequels, you're like, I don't know about him. And in the anime, Vicious is there to look all mean and angry. He never really had the greatest character, and so the show kind of had to go into like, okay, we got to try to expand this. What kind of story we tell? And they're just like, of course, that love affair between him and Julia and was hinted at in the anime. You just never really saw it. And so I like that in the show we actually was able to flesh that out a little bit. So now I'm getting into my negatives. And my biggest negative is forcing the syndicate down our throats the entire season. And in the anime we only saw the syndicate really when our main characters basically ran into them. We didn't really see the syndicate throughout the whole show, and that's when I didn't need to see what was Julia and Vicious doing while our heroes are going off and fighting, going after some bounty. I didn't need to see. I could have only seen them 3 episodes, the entire show, and I would have been completely okay with that. Like at the end of the first episode, if they said Ruthless is still alive, and and then you see Vicious, and it's like, okay then. And we didn't need to see it. We just didn't need to see the syndicate every episode of Vicious's coup d'etat of taking out the. I did like John Noble playing
Oh yeah,
Vicious.
that was cool. Yeah,
Of course, that's Lord Denethor and from Lord of the Rings, and
that's so weird because at the end of I think it was with the 9 episodes, right? The end of 7,
that was 10
they showed
episodes.
this.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, the end of one of them, they show him getting killed when that whole thing
yeah, that's
happens.
episode 8, and then episode
Yeah,
9 was
yeah.
the flashback
And
episode.
you are like, wow, they got him for that. That was like because he said it for like 3 seconds, and you're like, but then the next episode you get a little bit more time with him. You're like, okay. But yeah, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he
So
was bad.
my other negatives of the show was I didn't like that every episode was based like the first episode was a remake of the first episode of Cowboy Bebop. It was same story points, same everything. The only thing difference was the opening of the show was actually the opening of the Cowboy Bebop movie. Whenever Spike comes in there, he's just jamming out some music, takes out the robbers, and the woman says, "She says you're a cowboy. What are you?" Just a humble bounty hunter, ma'am. And like that's it's a direct line from the Cowboy Bebop the movie. And so some of my I would just wish they would have gone a little more creative and not just remade every episode of the show. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's biggest one of my biggest complaints of the show was every episode was kind of a different telling of the story. Other than like the first episode, direct remake of the first episode, and I was like, God, really, this is what we're going to be getting. And then as the show went along, they took the stories, like you had like the Teddy bomber, which was completely different from, like, you had the bomber, but it was a little different from the way the anime, because in the anime it was Spike and Cowboy Andy as they're just duking it out between each other. And we did see a little Cowboy Andy little Easter egg, which I guess we'll never get to see true Andy in the show. That's kind of sad. So yeah, other other good stuff about the show. I really liked the world. The world felt like Cowboy Bebop. It felt like you. I thought the world looked great. I liked how the Bebop looked. I liked how the ships
Yes.
looked.
I don't know
Um,
what their budget was, but like the special effects were good, the music was good.
no, the music was, and it was the same composer who did the original score of Cowboy Bebop, which they bring back all the same score of, you always had that button on Netflix where you can say, you want to skip the opening? I'm like, no.
the
uh,
the
yeah,
world felt like lived in, it had kind of like that Star Wars original trilogy feel to it.
I
Like
feel
it
like more like
felt,
a Firefly feel to it more so than anything.
well, yeah, but I just mean like original trilogy Star Wars, the world felt lived in, unlike the new trilogy or the prequels where it
And the
had
New
this like
Trilogy.
new fancy glossy look to it. This didn't, like, it felt, I don't know, felt realistic, I guess. Felt lived in, which is cool.
I, I'm also glad to see that Big Shots made its return. The show where bounty hunters get their information to go after bounties. I thought that was fun and everything, and uh, so that was funny.
Yeah.
My final complaint of the show is I didn't like what they did with Julia. I didn't really like the ending of. I mean, I get the idea of if you're held hostage this entire time, and you're like, okay, I'm never going to be in that situation ever again. I'm never going to allow someone to ever have power over me. I'm going to be the one making the shots. It's the same thing that happened in Shang-Chi this year, which I thought Shang-Chi did a lot better job than like Cowboy Bebop did. Um, the sister character where she was kind of held hostage and she's like, I'm gonna build an empire of my own. I thought Shang-Chi did a better version of what the Cowboy Bebop was trying to do with Julia. She's like, now I'm the boss. And I did like her kind of having vicious at the end, hostage. And like, oh, what's gonna happen next? You'll never know.
I didn't even really think of it like Shang-Chi, but that's kind of a very good parallel. I don't know, maybe if they had like throughout the season, because okay, my negatives is the last episode pretty much. Like I said at the beginning of the show, felt a little wooden. Maybe I just wasn't getting into it as quick as the characters, were a little fresh. But once I got into it, I was all on board. I didn't like the vicious stuff when he would pop in, like you said, he would come in here and there, and we get a lot of syndicate stuff. And I was just like, gosh, this actor, I don't know if it was him or the material or what, but I was like, I'm not feeling all the vicious stuff. But then we get to the last episode, and characters just start doing really dumb things, and like the
But
whole
I will say the cool part about the last episode, the fight is very reminiscent to how it looked just like it did in the anime. So on that part of it, like Spike has the jacket thing on, he has the guns, he's going in there, which is it's different from because in the anime he's trying to rescue, I believe, Faye, and they weren't both captured in the
in
original
the anime.
version.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there was some cool stuff. I mean, when he takes the bullet, he kind of turns his body, takes the bullet, looks all that. That was pretty cool.
Mhm.
And then that fight scene was cool. I don't know. I don't. they should have given us more into her whole turn. It was like it didn't make any sense to me, especially when we were fresh off. Like 2 episodes ago, we had this beautiful love story where he was trapped in the AI and all that stuff, and it was so good. You could tell they still both kind of loved each other, and it just, I just
But
don't know.
I
It just
get her
doesn't
point.
make
I
sense.
get the point of view though of why she's so angry at him, because you were alive and you knew I was in that terrible situation and you didn't do anything to help me out.
Well, I forget. Somebody must have told him, "Hey."
Well, but in the show, in the part of the show, he said, Vicious, like, he was laughing, and he's like, I told her she chose
Yeah,
me over
yeah,
him, and then she said, you believe him? Like,
yeah.
he's like, well, I didn't really think it that far. I mean, Spike's
I
never
feel
been
like
really this far this
that
character.
we at the very end there, we just wanted to go a little extra woke. We were like, oh,
Here we
we
go.
want her to be the lead, and it's just okay. If you're gonna do that, have some more story and some more signs that it's gonna happen. Don't just wait till the very last episode and be like, ha, psych, he's gonna shoot her and take over everything. And I don't know. And it really dampened my enthusiasm for another season. That's why I don't really care that it got canceled, because that's the way they're gonna go with it. It's her running things and having him captive. And like, I wish they just would all died. If we could have just had the original crew running around doing bounties and doing an episode of the week type of thing. Because to me, that was way more entertaining than the overall storyline that
And
was
be
in the
honest
back.
with you, though, the story has never really been the thing for Cowboy Bebop that's gravitated to me. My favorite storyline of the original show was the Faye Valentine story. About her who's trying to figure out who she is, her old past. She was someone from the original Earth before Earth was destroyed, basically. And so I would have liked this. The Faye storyline for me is my favorite storyline in Cowboy Bebop, and so it's not really all for me. It wasn't really ever about the Vicious and Spike and Julia love story. I mean, I love the Spike story too, and then even like it was cool seeing Ed in there for 30 seconds. And I
But
know
you're right. I know.
people are horrible online,
Yeah.
trashing this poor kid. And to be honest with you, he looked like the Ed from the anime, and I don't know what people were expecting, because that was Ed from.
Yeah.
I was happy to see Ed even for 30 seconds, and would have been glad to see Ed for an entire season next season, but we didn't get to see that, so it's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it either. I remember that character being super goofy and over the top. So, I mean, didn't
Well,
really bother
there's an
me.
episode in the original anime where Ed spikes all of the Bebop crew with mushrooms, and they're all just looping out. And like I remember the episode Spike, he's just climbing up a bunch of steps, and he looks up, and they're just empty amount of steps, and just going up, and it goes to the real world. He's just like, ooh, ooh. All right, guys. I think that concludes our thoughts on the first and only season of Cowboy Bebop. A show I still say canceled too soon. I think it had potential. I think it probably cost a lot of money for Netflix, and it was just probably seeing the critic scores and the audience scores. It's the first time I've seen in a very long time where both sides of the were like, we hate it. We all hate it. And they're all like, woo, let's go. And so they're
Yeah, and
like, I guess we gotta cancel it.
it dropped off the top 10 really quick too. Like it was in there for like a couple weeks and it dropped off. So I'm sure Netflix took those critic reviews plus the not very the increased viewing of it and was just like,
Yeah.
because you really got to have something that hits mass audiences plus get your fans, and they didn't have either.
But I'll
Looks like
tell you what is trending right now.
yeah,
The original anime of Cowboy Bebop. It's on Netflix.
yeah,
People
yeah,
apparently it's been trending pretty well as well. So
that's
hopefully
good.
maybe it'll be like the last Airbender. It'll get people into going to watching the original source material and then appreciating that.
Yeah.
So guys, that ends another episode of the EJK Show. We will be back very shortly as we talk about Survivor Season 41. Looking forward to talking with that with Rainy Cage here. So, guys, make sure you check out Rainy Cage's Letterboxd. I think he just posted a review of Spider-Man No Way Home. And also, I don't know what else he's posted lately, so I can't really help you out much more out. Guys, make sure you check out my main YouTube channel where I have a bunch of reviews getting ready to post this week. I'll have reviews of West Side Story, Spider-Man, Nightmare Alley, and Power of the Dog, and also Survivor. So, guys, until a few minutes from now, all too easy.